Hello students, welcome to the video lecture series of Artificial Intelligence. Today we are going to start with the topic of Hopfield network and backpropagation network, which are the topics of connectionist model. Now, I am your instructor Bhumin Mandalia for this video lecture series of Artificial Intelligence. Today's outline, the topic we are going to cover up, that the first is Hopfield network and second is backpropagation network. So these two more types of neural networks we are going to study today. Now let us start with the first topic of today's session, that is Hopfield network. See how this Hopfield network is going to work first of all. See, so Hopfield introduced a neural network as a theory of memory that is model of content addressable memory. See, this Hopfield network is going to memorize something. All nodes have some information and it can be stored in that node. Okay, and on the basis of that information we are going to decide that node is active or inactive. If that node is active, then we will not be able to pass on the information via that node. But if that node is inactive, then we will not be able to pass the information via that node. Okay, that means if active, then we will be able to pass the information. If inactive, then we will not be able to pass that information. So let us continue with the features of Hopfield network. So first is distributed representation. That means our representation, all the nodes will be distributed, all the nodes will be dispersed in some manner. Second is distributed asynchronous control. That means all the nodes will be having the asynchronous control. That means all the nodes will not be synchronized for passing the information. Third is content addressable memory. That means my node is going to store something. Next is a number of patterns can be stored in a network. So to retrieve a pattern, a specific portion of it is specified and network automatically finds the closest match. For example, if I want to recognize the pattern of some digit, then I am having some of the digits patterns already stored in my network, so that it will be easily able to compare my stored patterns with the given output, and testing phase will be very much easy. Okay, so that is why content addressable memory will be very much useful. So fault tolerance will also be there. If a few processing elements misbehave or fail completely, then the network will function properly. See, for example, if I am having the 5 inactive nodes in my network and 5 active nodes in my network, so I will be easily able to pass the information to the brain, so that the fault tolerance will be also very much beneficial. Getting my point or not? For example, let's say in my brain, if one neuron is not working properly, then the neurologist knows the strategy, they know the mechanism, so that they are going to bypass the message transformation in my brain. Okay, same way that thing is also done in my heart, so that it will be able to pass on the blood with the another way, that is called as, let's say, bypass surgery. Okay, so likewise in Hopfield network, if we are having the neurons which are inactive, or we can say which will not be able to function properly, then also it is going to find the another path, so that it will be able to reach to the final goal state from that path. Okay, let us have the example of that Hopfield network. For example, let me draw one figure first of all for Hopfield network. See, let's say for Hopfield network, I am having one node here. Okay, now that node is there. Let's say one another node is there. For example, here also one more node is there. Another node is there. Let's say here 2 nodes are there, and my final node is here. Okay. Let's say each and every nodes are connected in this manner. Okay. Let's say it is connected here, next is here, next will be here. Okay, so let's say here the weights we are given, it's -1, -1, +3, plus 1, minus 1, plus 2 will be there, again plus 1, next is minus 2, again plus 3, next is minus 1, and next is plus 1. Okay, so these type of nodes are there. Now let us find which nodes are the inactive node and which nodes are the active node. Okay, so active nodes and inactive nodes must be found out, so that we will be able to determine that which will be the open path to pass the information. Okay, so see how that inactive and active nodes will be calculated. For example, let's say inactive nodes, that means the weighted sum will be negative. Okay, for inactive node, weighted sum will be negative. That will be calculated as inactive node. And for active node, we can say weighted sum will be positive. So here my weighted sum will be what? Weighted sum will be positive. Okay, so that is called as my active and inactive node. So can we say that here plus 3, minus 1, minus 2, so these will be called as my active node because weighted sum is positive. Okay, likewise here minus 1 plus 1, so it is, and minus 1, so can we say that it is going to be negative, so this is my inactive node. Okay, likewise here for this one plus 3, so 6 minus 2 4, 4 minus 2 2, so can we say that this is also active node. Now plus 3 and minus 1, so can we say that this is also my active node. Now for this one plus 1 plus 1, so plus 2 minus 2 and minus 1, so this is inactive node. Likewise for this one plus 2 and plus 1, so this is also positive, so this is my again active node. Now plus 1 minus 1 0, plus 1 plus 2 3, so this is also my active node. So can we say that if I am going to represent this in form of notation, then it will be my inactive node, and if I will represent it in this manner, then that will be my active node. Okay, so likewise I have calculated active and inactive nodes. Getting my point or not? So active and inactive nodes are termed in form of Hopfield network. So Hopfield network is going to pass on the information, it is going to store the information even if one node is not active perfectly. Okay, so that is why it is called as content addressable memory. Okay, it is called as content addressable memory. Right? Now let us start with the next topic, that is backpropagation network. So what will be there in backpropagation network? For example, let's say here one x1, x2 and x3, three nodes are there. Okay, here let's say x4 is there, here let's say x5 is there. Okay, so according to neural network strategy, all the nodes will be connected with one another in next layer. Okay, so this is going to provide my final output. So let's say final output is lying here. So see, for example, let's say my final output which I want to gain is 5. Okay, here let's say W1 is there, W2 is there, W3 is there, W4 is there, W5 is there and W6 is there. Okay, so each and every node are getting some information from previous node. So can we say that my hidden layer input x4 will be W1 x1 plus W3 x2 plus W5 x3. Likewise, x5 will be what? W2 x1 plus W4 x2 plus W6 x3. Okay, so these will be the terminology for x4 and x5. Okay, and x4 and x5, let's say this is W7 and this is W8. So after having this exponent x pi, I will be able to gain the output. So output will be what? X4 W7 plus X5 W8. Okay, these will be my final output layer, we can say. Getting my point or not? So these output we will be able to analyze according to this back propagation network. Now after having and substituting all the values of input, for example, let's say my output which I have gained is 3. So can we say that if I have gained 3 and I want the final target is what? 5. So I will have to adjust the value of all weights. Okay, so I will have to go back in the layer by back propagation. That means I will have to go from output layer to hidden layer. So that output layer to hidden layer passing is called as back propagation. Okay, so let's say error which I want to observe, error is let's say 0.1. Okay, that means if I am going to increase all these weights by 0.1, then I may get the output final 5. So that is called as back propagation. Okay, so that error will be minimized first of all, then and only then I will be able to reach close to the target output. Okay, so if error is there and let's say again this W4 X4, so let's say X4 into 1.1, see previously output was 1 and now output is 1.1, likewise X4 into 1.1, then final output will be analyzed, it will be made reach to the closer to the previous output, then we will be able to get the final answer, that is the output 1. Okay, so this is the scenario of back propagation network. Okay, thank you for paying your attention. Thank you, students.